How's it going, brother?
Oh, man. One more wedding and the season is done. One more wedding.
Yeah?
And the season is done. I think November 16th is my last wedding. Done.
I got an event on the 9th.
November? Where you going to be?
I'd have to look in the calendar. I honestly don't remember.
I don't
where
know
it's
either.
at.
If I got more events, I'll have to look at my phone. I got a thing called V. I don't want to tell you the whole name. I don't want to give them advertising. But it gives me opportunity to send the couple itinerary app. And within the itinerary app, they can plan their day, what time they want me there. And if they were picking music for different parts of the pre-ceremony, open dance, cocktail, they can go and click the app at a certain point of music, and it'll bring them up music ideas. So they want like, what should we play? Oh, it's an awesome app. I'll let you see it, check it out. You know, but it's saved. It's taken a lot of craziness out of my day. Being a DJ, it makes it easier now that we're getting older. I don't have to write a lot of stuff down. Just put it into the phone and put it into the app, and it's like, boom. And it's up close and personal. It's friendly, not intrusive, but I like it. As an old guy, old DJ, it works for me.
Yeah.
So you went on a trip.
Oh, yeah. Which one?
I don't know. You're all over the globe. You're still, to me, it seems like you're still as busy as you were when you were out there DJing at the stations.
Yeah, last week. That's right. I went to Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Ooh, that's nice and warm.
Yeah, it was kind of neat. Like, they have these, there's a national park there, and they have a mountain. It's not a big mountain, but it's a mountain nonetheless. And there's, like, little creeks that flow from the bottom of it.
Wow. And
the water comes out like 143 degrees. So we went and did the private bath and massage thing with my wife.
Awesome.
And that was fun. But that was just like a little weekend getaway. Like, I flew out Thursday, and we flew home Sunday, so it was just like a weekend thing. I'm going to Vegas the third week of November.
Okay.
And I just went, I don't know if we talked about when I went to Boston. I was in Boston a couple of weeks ago. Right. Maybe it was like whenever I wore the Harvard.
Yeah, we talked about it, a couple of weeks ago.
Did we? Yeah.
Yep.
So I went to Boston, and that's all I have planned for now. I can't remember. So I don't take a lot of the when somebody books me to DJ, it's like a year in advance.
Yep, I get that. I do the same
So then
thing.
I forget, like, I have it in my calendar. Right. And yeah, you guys inspire me to, like, I realized that I have to maybe be a little more organized, but so I'm this is a funny story. So speaking of DJing, so this is a friend of mine recommended me to this couple to DJ their wedding.
Okay.
And I said, yeah, I'll do it. And so the bride sends me a text message. I shoot her back a text message.
Right.
You know, and the text message was, we're getting close to the date of the event. I don't know verbatim, but we're getting close to the date of the event. I just want to make sure you have all the songs that we want.
Right.
So I said, yeah, no problem. Send me your email address or something like that. And then I have a Google form that they fill out that has a list of all the things. And I didn't hear from her. And I was like, okay, that's weird. And then a couple days goes by, and she texts me again. She goes, hey, I'm getting a little nervous about the thing. And then I replied, yeah, I just need your email. Normally I send out this Google survey, fill it out, we're good to go. Now she got another text message, and she was really upset. And again, I replied right away, and I was like, yeah, sorry, I just need your email address. I keep looking, because they booked it a long time ago.
Right.
So I'm like, do I have their information? Did they fill out the survey already? I'm not quite sure. There's some sort of miscommunication.
Right.
So then she calls me, And I see the phone ringing, and I go to answer the phone, and when I go to answer the phone, all of a sudden it disconnects.
It drops.
I was like, that's so weird. And she had my email address from my website, I think.
Right.
So she emails me, and she was very upset.
She's blessing you out with the email.
And very frustrated, rightfully so. And she goes, I'm trying, hey, this is like in a couple of weeks. We need to lock this in. Are you going to be able to do this? And I was like, wow, this is weird. This is so weird.
Is she not getting the email?
So in the email, so now I have her email because she emailed me, right? And I said, I've been replying to your text. I'm not quite sure when you called. I called and left a voicemail message too.
Right.
So I called back immediately, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. I just tried to answer your call. I didn't hear from you. Something. So I shoot an email back, and I said, yeah, I don't, because I'm confused.
Right.
And then her soon-to-be husband gives me a call and calls me as I'm in the airport.
Oh, gosh.
Right? So I did go to Arkansas. He calls me while I'm in the airport, and I'm literally going through security.
Security. Oh boy.
And I'm like, yeah, because I knew, and I was like, yeah, what's up? And
call drops.
Oh
gosh.
So then I'm like, okay. So now I'm like confused, but anyways, I don't know what to do. So she emails me back and says, yeah, I somehow accidentally blocked your phone number.
You don't accidentally block a phone number.
Yeah, you can.
You can?
When you put them in the contacts, if you're not paying attention.
I don't know. When I block you for a reason.
You're
probably an iPhone guy, aren't you?
Yeah, the iPhone, like when you create a contact or you could do. I could see how you do it on accident. So I was like, okay, well, I sent them the survey.
Okay.
And there's still like some sort of miscommunication because I was like, just fill out the survey, give me the list of the. So then we land. And I don't know how to, and I mean this in the nicest way, but like we went to Hot Springs, Arkansas. It was a beautiful place. But there aren't a lot of direct flights to Little Rock, Arkansas. Little Rock, Arkansas is like one terminal airport,
small island.
And they have all the airlines. Sorry about that. I thought I turned the ringer off. They have all the airlines at their own separate gates. So there's a Southwest gate.
Right.
There's United. There's, just name them off, right? So there's like 8 gates at the end of this terminal in Little Rock, and one is for each separate airline.
Okay.
Right. So it's a small airport, and you and I, we're used to like flying out of O'Hare or Midway out of Chicago, or sometimes even South Bend,
Atlanta.
Yeah. So we're used to like have Southwest having their own
little area,
right? So to get there, we had to get a layover. I like to do direct flights. I don't play around.
We don't mess around.
So, but we had to do a layover in Dallas.
How long did you have the layover?
Oh, it wasn't that long. It was like a half hour, 45 minutes.
Because man,
which was nice because we flew there, we ate lunch, and then we flew on the plane. But anyways, we literally just landed. So I've been traveling. You got to get to the airport 2 hours earlier.
Right.
Then we have a layover. So it took us about 5-6 hours to get to Arkansas, right?
You're ready to get
We get in the rental car, and they call me
again
frantically. I filled out, not frantically. I get it. They just want to check things off the list. And they said, will you have these songs? Do you have these songs? And I was like, I have been flying. Like we literally were pulling out of the airport where you pick up the rental car from.
Right.
And it was just funny. I said, I will check, and if I have any issues, I'll let you know. But when you talk about using apps, and I heard Grind was talking about some of the things that he does, I never really, because my referrals are more like hiring Kid Mix to DJ. So they're expecting me to show up with turntables and
everything.
scratch, which is fine, but I'm not as formal sometimes. I don't know how to word it.
I would call it wetified. That's half a wedding to it.
Yeah.
You're not into. Yeah, I get it, man. I get it.
Yeah.
It took me. I'm embarrassed to say this. It took me a good 4 years to make myself be the same. Because the same with you, they like this Toby T showing up from the radio station, And then I had a guy sit me down and say, hey, bro, you gotta get yourself together. I'm like, what? It's like, you gotta this is real wedding stuff. You gotta treat them like clients. I was like, dude, said, no. Some people you have to hold their hands. I was like, why?
Yeah. But I'm not mad. So that's coming up in a couple of weeks, and then I'm going to go to Vegas the week after that just for the weekend. I don't know. That's my new thing now. We just like to fly out of town. Most of the time.
You should. You're a hard worker, man.
Yeah.
Do you do theme weddings?
Theme?
Yeah. Like, hey, we want to do this Star Wars wedding. Everybody's dressed in Star Wars stuff, and they want you to dress in Star Wars. And you're playing certain songs from Star Wars as they enter the.
I don't do a lot of weddings. Honestly, it's a friend of mine it's a friend of a friend or somebody's kid or something like that.
I got this guy.
Or they're getting remarried.
Yeah.
And they're like, we need a DJ for the wedding. They're like,
renew vows.
I can get Kid Mix if you want Kid Mix.
Sweet.
And then they'll call me, and I'm like, yeah, sure, of course, And then, but no, that's the other thing too. I was thinking about that, like treating them like a client. I always think of it, which is totally wrong. This is me growing as a person.
Mm-hmm. I totally understand.
I was totally wrong. I always go in there like, I'm doing these people a favor. I don't know why they're calling me.
I know, man.
I do this every weekend. I don't know what the big deal is. You know what I'm saying?
I get it, man. That's how it was for me too.
Yeah. So I was just like, I don't know what these people are doing, bothering me. But but they're not. I'm exaggerating a little bit to be funny, but I did think I didn't really process they could have hired anybody to DJ, and I want this experience. And I still, I did a lot of stuff. So I DJ'd at Pebblewood, and we did weddings, and there we had an events manager that had the itinerary.
Yeah.
And she was like, they're cutting the cake at 7:15. It's 7:13. You need to go get them and tell them that we're cutting the cake and stuff like that. So I know about that stuff and keeping people on time.
Right.
And I've been in some situations where they don't, they're like, oh, I want to greet the guest, and then they run out of time.
Right.
Situations and stuff like that. So, and I've had, there was one wedding I DJ'd, and it was a person that I knew, and he's like, I'm getting married. You still DJ and stuff? Could you DJ my wedding? And I was like, yeah. And his wife she would change things. So I had a contract, and I do like a standard 4-hour contract. And then if it's beyond the 4 hours, then you have to pay extra, And so I gave him a super cool deal because it was a buddy of mine, and she hit me up like a week before, and she said, I need you to do the music for the ceremony too. And it was like from 3 to 11.
Oh gosh.
And I was like, and then she insisted that I get there at 1 because she wanted to make sure everything was set up. And we had a conversation about the contract, and I was like, yeah, that's possible, but you got to pay extra. And she goes, well, that's not what we agreed to. And I was like, yeah, actually, that's exactly what we agreed to. But she also booked a space that only held 150 people or something like that. And she had like 30 extra people there, so it was so crammed in there. They were trying to accommodate her. She did the same thing with the catering. So those caterers,
food.
Yeah. Well, there was enough food, but she called them like a week before
to get more food
and said, and then they were like, well, yeah, we could do that, but we got to charge you more money. But the venue was nervous because there was an upstairs and a downstairs, but each room had a fire code capacity.
Room capacity. Oh boy.
And so the combined rooms could just barely hold all of her guests. But she had more people, because the reception was upstairs.
Okay.
They had like a cocktail hour downstairs. And I talked to the venue manager, and she was like, I don't like it. We're going to have to try to figure out a way to keep some people downstairs, but they all had to come upstairs to eat.
Upstairs to eat.
And so it was so packed, and they didn't have enough plates and stuff. It was a really nice place too. I remember that, but I liked the way that they had it set up. They had they didn't have matching. It was like one of those. It wasn't a barn. I forget the name of the place, but it was like a building. But you know how when you go to those barn wedding receptions where they have like mason jars and they try to make a country thing. But they had like just random glasses. It was glassware. But it looked like they went, and it was probably antiques. But each person had a unique plate and glass. And so it was really cool, but somebody'd you'd have a blue glass, I'd have a pink glass, this person would have a green glass, and they were all different. Wow. It was probably crystal too, now that I think about it. But I mean, it was a nice layout. But
that sounds expensive.
Yeah, well, it was nice, but they probably bought it all, because it's not a set.
Okay.
Right? It's not a set. So who's gonna buy one single crystal glass? But what they did is they bought a bunch of them.
Yeah, nobody is going to do that.
But it was kind of a neat theme kind of thing. But no, when I have one of those experiences, I go, oh yeah, I forget I'm retired from DJing. I'm not supposed to be doing this.
I'm supposed to be doing this. I'm just
same thing. They'll call me.
I'm helping a friend.
Yeah, they'll call me like there was a guy from Atlanta that reached out to me, and I was like, oh, do I really want to fly to Atlanta just to DJ for a couple hours? And then people, it's just interesting. But that's where my headspace is. But I have to remember, it's important to them, and to take it very serious for their sake. And so I got to do a little bit better at that. But
when you get called for weddings like that to go into another city, do they have a setup for you, or you take your stuff?
Yeah, well, they'd have to have a setup for me. So when I DJ in another city, if it's really far away and I have to fly, they have to have a setup. Yeah. So they essentially have to hire a DJ
to get their equipment.
Yeah, basically.
Hey, we love you, but we got a guy flying in.
Basically,
he's probably like, okay, I'm still getting paid.
Yeah, and then they have to. I like certain equipment too, but I'm usually pretty flexible. I mean, I can take.
What does Kid Mix like when he comes to a venue and they're getting equipment for you? What do you have to have in order for you yourself to know that you're going to do a guaranteed good job?
I have right now the majority of my music library in Serato.
Right.
So I'm going to have a Serato. And I have my laptop set up in a way where it's all contained in my portable hard drive.
Right.
So I really don't even need my laptop. I could just I have Serato installed on my portable hard drive.
Okay.
So if they have a Mac, bam. But I have, for road things, I have a tiny Mac Airbook. Okay. I like that because it's not big and bulky. You fit it right into your backpack.
Right.
I just got a new one too, a M3, which is nice.
I've been looking at those, man. My MacBook is getting old, and it's kind of
Yeah.
For some reason, it's slowing down. Like, I said, Kid Mix told me last time that when they update the Serato, you need more RAM to make it run. I was like, I got to do that. I've been looking for laptops.
I prefer a Rain mixer setup because I have Rain products. The Rain 72 layout, which is the mixer that I use with the turntables, is the exact same layout as the Rain Performer.
Okay.
But if somebody had a Pioneer mixer, they're very similar. But if I could choose, I would say Rain. The Pioneer mixers are nice, but I need the pads.
Right.
So I need for the cue points. And the effects and stuff like that. Cool. And they have the paddles for the effects, which is very similar. And then the Rain and the Pioneer, you can choose different effects.
Right.
Those are nice. They just make for smoother transitions from one song to the next.
Exactly.
But that's pretty much it. And my library is the thing. And if they have turntables, I have the phase controllers if I need them.
To go on top of the turnstiles.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
So I don't if they don't have like the Rain controllers, I have the phase, which is nice, and then you just.
I've seen it, but I never got a chance to experience that. And it's good reviews on that. Phase.
Yeah, it's fun. You got to have a really good computer for your computer to keep up with everything.
Yeah, for latency and all that stuff.
Yeah, well, and plus when I do all the really fast scratching, it messes. It'll mess up. So I had I was trying to use virtual DJ because I had like half my because I had a Z2 Traktor mixer.
Okay.
And that's a different software. It doesn't work with Serato.
Yeah, it's.
I like it.
Competitors.
But now Traktor went and got stems and stuff, and I was looking at the longevity of it and the history of Serato, and I was like, man, that's too bad because I really preferred Traktor. I think there were some things, but now Serato has basically got almost the same thing that Traktor had like 10 years ago.
I did the same thing you did. I started with Traktor.
Yeah.
And I was like, Serato. I went over and got the Serato box. Same thing. Traktor. I don't know what led me to Traktor. I guess I liked the setup and the latency and stuff. And then before I knew it, I was getting a Serato box when he had the boxes. That was weird, man. And then I seen when you first started back there, I said, oh, he's got Traktor.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Well, Traktor, you could do 4 decks.
Yeah. You can do it with Serato.
Well, now you can do it with Serato.
But you gotta do a certain program set up for that, you know?
Well, the Rain Performer, I just hit a button.
Hit a button, yeah.
I have 2 buttons on the side. I can say deck 1, deck 4. I can say deck 2, deck 3. Or, no, I got to remember how it goes. I think it goes...
You can use all those decks.
They do 1 and 2 are the middle ones, and then 3 and 4.
I am jealous, because I was, man, that...
Watch my videos, dude. I do it all the time.
Oh, dude, I watch your videos. I said, that dude still got it. I said, if your whole body got arthritis, your fingers won't, because you keep them suckers moving. It's like, I can see it now. Yeah, I used to cut, but my fingers still work.
I'm a little rusty. Like, sometimes, like, I go to... But I don't practice. I never practice. Bro. I just do.
You're not rusty. You are very hard on yourself. You are not rusty. Yeah. I look at yours. I said, man, that dude still got it. I said, man. Oh, gosh.
I saw a video of K-Swiss. And he's just DJing it. He did a Boiler Room set. It's fairly recent.
Wow.
And he's mixing songs, different songs than what I play. There's only so many hours in the day, right? So when SMK reached out to me, Marcy said to me, kid, I want you to play songs that you used to play back in the day. Could you do that for me, please? I said, sure.
That's good.
So I like all those songs, right?
Love them.
And so I play that stuff, and that's why I play those songs. But so K-Swiss does a similar thing the way he mixes the records, and But then in between, he's running doubles and doing tricks. And as I'm watching the video, I'm not being competitive. By the way, K-Swiss just got second in the 2024 World DMC Finals.
Who beat him out?
Fly. DJ Fly. Yeah, I know that guy. It was close, though. When you watch it, but with Fly finish. Fly, that guy's an alien. That dude's not normal. So right. DJ Fly, so when he's doing all these crazy doubles, and it's saying something on the record, it's a vocal. I just watched the video this morning, and when he gets done, like he's doing doubles, and he wants to cut the volume off on this turntable. Right. He reaches down and goes, and you see him blow the fader over, and then this goes, and then finally says something, and then he throws talcum powder like he's LeBron James, right. And then it just falls down, and you're like, this dude. K-Swiss was doing all kind of wild stuff too, though. But I saw K-Swiss doing this thing where he's running doubles. I was like, oh, I know how to do that. Right. So I just tried it. So the mixes I made that'll air next week, I'm just running some doubles and stuff. And as I'm doing it, I was like, I could spin around and do it like he does. I was like, nah, I'm recording right now. I don't want to have to re-edit it if I make a mistake.
You used to do that stuff all the time.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, though. So it would take me a little bit of practice, like maybe an hour or two for whatever.
To get yourself back in.
Yeah.
In sync.
Yeah, because practice does make a difference, but like, so you got to know where the crossfader is, right? Right. So if I'm DJing and I'm running doubles and I want to hit it with my elbow or reach under my leg and do it or behind the back, you have to know where to hit it. So you got to practice a little bit.
Nice. Yeah, you're right, man.
And if you want to spin in a circle, but I don't know, I could do it but then also like. When I go to make the mixes, so where I was going with the radio station and all this stuff was, I have a limited amount of time. Right. And so I'm only gonna, I have created the system where when I go to record the mixes for the radio station, I have this camera set up. I have other cameras too. Right. And I have a couple of computers, and I hit record and I just videotape what I'm recording for the radio station. And I just do it live.
Awesome.
And I just run through and do it. And most of the time I don't have to correct it. And I've even left what I consider to be little mistakes in there. Because I did a mix, and this dude was like, on the internet, and I posted it, and he was like, that's fake. That's not real. You're not really doing it. And I was like, I am. He said, no, nobody can do it like that. And I was like,
I can.
Well, I didn't even mean it like that. I was like, wow, these haters are funny.
There's nothing wrong with it when you say I can, because you can. It's like,
yeah. Well, those people, I trolled them a little bit, and I was like, oh, he's not. There's some people that like just.
Are these other DJs?
Yeah, but sometimes DJs will sometimes when they see somebody do something. Jay-Z, they interviewed Jay-Z one time, and he said, listen, people will tell you what you can't do, but really it's what they can't do. Right? He said, so when I have ideas and I go to people and I say, I want to do this, and they say, you can't do that. He was like, no, you can't do it.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's a reality, I guess. But so I go in and I just hit record and I do all that stuff. But yeah, when I go to DJ someplace out of town or something like that, they basically have to hire a DJ that has that equipment, or they could rent it. Right. But most of the people that have DJ equipment that you can rent are DJs. Guitar Center rents out some stuff, but I have very
just
specific
speakers.
stuff.
I've seen them. I needed some extra stuff, and last minute this couple, hey, we don't have you doing the ceremony, but can we? I said that's going to be 2 setups. Yeah. And I told you specifically, I have one setup that my assistant's DJing somewhere. I only have one setup right now, and my 2 setups, one's a backup in case anything goes wrong with that one. And then I went and bought a third setup to make sure if anything goes wrong with that one, because I'm so nervous. People pay you all this money. You want to make sure you have something ready if something happens.
I was running out of room at my other house because I had a setup, and then I DJ'd somewhere, and I knew the setup wouldn't be loud enough.
Right.
So when I got back into DJing, the most recent time, I had two 15-inch two-ways. I was DJing at some little bar. It was weird. It was in Sister Lakes. I forget the name of it. But then the crowd got there, and those two little 15-inch two-ways weren't quite loud enough.
No? Wow.
So then I bought a second pair of two-ways. And then I had to DJ... I had to DJ like a festival or something.
Okay.
And they wanted me to provide the sound. I can't remember, but then I bought a third pair of this. They're all the same speaker, right?
Right.
And then somebody reached out to me. Oh, I remember what it was. I had to do 3 gigs in one day.
Jeez.
Right?
I don't want to do that.
So then I was like, all right, well, for the one gig, and I just liked having the 4, I'd have two 15-inch two-ways here and two 15-inch two-ways here. So if you go on my Instagram, you'll see like a wall of sound. So I think at one time, I had 4 pairs of 15-inch two-ways. And, but the one pair didn't match the other ones.
Okay.
And then I had to DJ at the Century Center.
Oh.
And I DJ'd there with those speakers. But the Century Center's so big, and one of the things that I did... And I know what it was. I went and DJ'd... No. I DJ'd a festival, and they had subs. So my stuff was loud, but I wasn't getting the real low end.
On the software, okay.
On the subs.
On the subs.
And so I DJ'd at the Century Center... with the 4 15-inch two-ways, and I wasn't getting the low end there. And I was like, oh, crap. So then I bought my current setup, which I got those 18-inch subs and the Electro Voices.
Yeah.
And then I had all these speakers at my house. I didn't have any room. And I said, man, it's time to... I had a fire sale.
Oh man!
But I sold him to DJ buddies. One of my buddies, Tyrone Davis from Ben Harbor.
Yeah, I can't.
Big Papa.
Yeah, Big Papa. Yeah.
Yeah. He got a pair. Aaron Bowling got a pair.
I don't think I know Aaron.
What's Aaron? Oh, Matrix.
Matrix. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? I got.
And then I sold some other one. I sold them on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
But now I only have, I just went out and bought a second pair of powered speakers because I got to do an event. And I need 2 sets of speakers because they're making announcements. It's actually at the Century Center. They're going to make announcements at the top of the stairs.
Okay.
And then I'm DJing downstairs in the main room. And so I got that second set to go upstairs with the microphone.
So what brand of speakers does Kit Mix use? Is Electro Voice? Is JBL? What do you prefer?
So,
or does it even matter for you?
I think it does. I'm jealous of Pablo because he has those QSCs. Oh, yes. Pablo doesn't spare any expense on his equipment. He's got those QSCs and they're so clean.
Are they? Yeah.
They're so clean, and they sound really good. But there was a time, because Electro Voice was out of Buchanan.
Right.
There was a time where every nightclub that I DJ'd in had Electro Voice speakers around here.
Exactly.
They had Crown amplifiers, which was out of Indiana. And they had the Electro Voice speakers. So I love Electro Voice. Mm-hmm. So when I went to buy the speakers, Pablo was DJing at Gina's, and I said, man, those are clean.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, I know, aren't they? He's smiling. He's like, yeah, they are.
Crisp, baby.
Yeah, and I was like, those are clean. And he was like, yeah, just go out and get some. And I went to buy them, And the subs for the QSC, they're like $2,000 a pop. Right?
I've been looking at them. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the Electro Voice ones were like $1,300. They're about $1,300 and some change after you pay taxes and stuff. And I was like, but the Electro Voice is clean too.
Right.
And it's a matched system. So I have an app on my phone. I could choose where the crossover, what frequency the crossover is. And so I really like the Electro Voice. I think the Electro Voice subwoofers are better.
Okay.
I think the QSC tops are just a little cleaner.
Okay.
Just a little cleaner. And I think it has to do with frequency response. I bet you if I go into the settings on the Electro Voice, I can make it a little cleaner, maybe EQ it a little bit. But I don't. I just leave it flat.
Yeah.
So I don't EQ anything. I just leave everything flat. But I'm very happy with that. And then, yeah, it's. I have two 18-inch subs and the 15-inch two-ways, and they set on the poles on top of the subs. So I can DJ at the Century Center, and I don't have it full blast. And you go in the back, and you can feel the bass still. Yeah. And sometimes you can have too much. JBLs are nice. I used to have a pair of those in the recording studio. I had a pair of DJ. They were 15-inch two-ways when I had the recording studio in my house. That's what I listened to. I had because I would play. When you mix down songs, you want to have like 3 or 4 different types of speakers, and if it sounds good on all of them, it's a pretty good mix. The levels are pretty good. So. Yeah,
I've been trying to get into Electro Voice, and then the cues. I was like looking at that stuff. You're right, it's so expensive. So I just stick with the JBLs. They've been doing me pretty well.
Every time I see Preach, he'll have the conversation. I forget what kind he has, but he'll tell me how those are just as good. And I just smile and I say, "Oh yeah,
use what you want."
But use what you want. And then I always hit him with, "But those those QSCs are clean." And he goes, But
like buying a pair of overalls, one made by what were they made by? 2 different names made by the same people. Oh my goodness.
Well, there's some truth to that, but when you pay the extra money for that stuff, there's a lot of electronics that make those sound really clean. They're tuned.
Well, people don't think DJ equipment is expensive.
Yeah, I've been seeing people on the internet talking about, like, why would you pay... Oh, you know what else? They have the AI DJ. Did you see that thing?
No, I have not. I don't want to see anything else AI.
It isn't going to matter.
Everybody's a producer now. People who can't produce, all of a sudden can produce and hit a button and be a producer. It's like, it's to the point where you don't have to have talent anymore. My perception. Same thing about producing in the studio, music, becoming a singer. Same thing with the DJ stuff. Now they got this sync button that everybody's talking about. Do you use sync? Should you use sync? It's creating controversy that I was like, oh, come on, here we go again. I don't know. It's just people are posing as producers and DJs now. It's hard to.
Are they though, or do they really believe it? Like, I think they really believe it, and they've bypassed. So if you look at things from a traditional perspective, you've got, like, when you and I were coming up, we used to have to go to like a big, huge studio with keyboards and all that stuff. And you'd have to have somebody that knew how to play, or you had to have a sampler, or you had to have records. And so there was a process that you went through. And then as that evolved, producers would find, like, oh, I like this bass loop, and I have this horn stab from a different record, and they're assembling these things. And as the AI and the technology improved, it allows people to, like, find a bass line and the horn stab and then put it together. It's a lot easier. But I don't think they'd ever make a record better than Timberland. That man had a record where their baby's going, and he looped it.
He looped it.
Yeah, and they're never going to make a record better than Dr. Dre. I don't care what. And you could AI generate, because there's something about their God-given talent.
The way they set things up.
And I think it's the same with the DJs. Slice posted a video about AI.
Right.
And there's some AI software that can blend and mix records, and the DJs were in the thread were kind of getting nervous, and I was like, unless the AI can spin around and hit the crossfader with its elbow, I'm not worried.
I'm not worried. Right.
I'm not worried.
Right. Yeah.
But I think that's what people want. I think there's something to that. I this morning watched the finals for the World DMC DJ battle.
It's on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to look it up.
And it had K-Swiss versus DJ Fly and the other guy, Fumi, I think is his name. He's from Asia. I apologize if I mispronounce his name. But when you watch those guys...
Right. Merciless.
It's different.
Yeah.
And I'm an okay DJ.
Probably give you goosebumps. Watching it.
It's different. You know what I mean? Like they do things. They're not just scratching. They're not just beat juggling.
Right.
And then I think about what they did to finish their set, to get to their set to where it was.
Right.
I never in a million years would dream to blow on the crossfader to. Whoa. But when he did it, it was like, it was so slick. He was like you see it. This is light work. I'm just like, he was like, bam, 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 spinning around and stuff. And he goes, you see it.
That's how smooth I am, baby.
Yeah. And I was like, holy crap. I was like, we got LeBron James in here.
Right.
I was like, I need to practice, man. This guy's good. But that, I don't know. I think it's nice. The sync button. So I used to be one of those guys. Oh, it's got to be on turntables, and you got to do this. You guys don't know what you're doing, which is true.
Right.
But I did some mixes on and posted them on the internet, and some of those people came at me, and I was like, man, it was funny to me because he's like, you're just using the sync button. I was like, no, I'm not. And how you go back and forth, and then I realized like there's this, I don't know, man. There's a certain amount of like fear, right? What do I care if some dude hits a sync button,
right,
and the songs mixed together,
right? What
do I care? I can do that.
Well, I think, like you said, people are getting nervous because I think people think that there won't be enough jobs, and there's plenty of DJ jobs. I think, just from what I say DJ jobs, I'm talking about clearly weddings. I haven't been in a club in years.
Yeah.
But the amount of people I have to turn down every year, and like you said, year in advance, I've got 10 weddings already planned for next year. And I'm like, man. And before that, I got
to send a contract when I.
Exactly.
I got to send yeah.
And before that,
But that's not a wedding. That's an actual, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, before that, I'm like, damn, what did I do? So I had to change my whole setup. Had to get a receipt book, get my name on a receipt
book. Organized.
Like, geez, my wife's like, you're so unorganized. She's a nurse, and she's totally organized. I'm like, that's what DJs do. We do our thing. Stay over there in the nursing field and the medical. You know nothing about this. Mm-hmm. And then, you have people question you about certain things. Like, oh, maybe I do need to get a little bit more. Okay. But I think people are worried about not having, I think they worry about the DJ world being too saturated. But I ain't going to say who the DJ was. It's going to be too saturated. That's what you mean. There's DJs all over the world. Not in just this continent. You think about Japan and China. Those guys are DJing on 45-inch records, on the turntables. DJ Scratch, I watch his show, and he's displaying guys from Japan and China, and they call it 45 night. They're on 45-inch records. I never thought of DJing 45-inch records. I've always thought about 12 inches. But now you see guys in Japan and China, they're 45 inches and mixing and scratching. I'm like, whoa, never thought about that. But it depends on people's creativity. And that's what it is. I think some people are losing creativity, but
that's getting saturated too. So like, I made a house record, and the vocal loop doesn't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
It goes baby. That's all it does.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard it, and I was like, "Oh, that's it right there. That's it right there. That's it." You know, because I had these vocals, right, and nothing really worked for the track. So I had this banging track,
right,
and I had some vocals. I put some vocals on there and looped, and I was like, "Oh, that ain't it. Just go through the process." And then, it's chopped, but it's chopped in a way. But now it's not the first time that's been done.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right.
There are other people that have done stuff like that. And when I couldn't find the vocal loop that worked the way that I wanted to, I just got bored, and I was like, well, the vocals in the same key, it should work, but it just sounds dry.
Right.
And so then I just started cutting things and putting it in, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And I think about, that's probably inspired by something that Timberland has done, maybe Pharrell or something like that, where they take all these different soundscapes and try to rearrange them. Also, Premiere does that a lot. So when I heard it, I'm doing stuff by ear, right, what I like. Right. And I think the AI can never do that. It can only copy what's been done. Right. I don't think it can generate. So what'll happen?
Creativity.
Yeah.
In the mind.
When you see DJs DJ, yeah, I would watch DJ Fly DJ over any AI generated playlist, over any sync button DJ. I think most people would.
Mm-hmm.
Jazzy Jeff plays regular records, but he's Jazzy Jeff.
Right.
I saw a video of him DJing. He did like a summer tour.
Okay.
My man played Nirvana. And when it came in, I was like, "Is that Smells Like Teen Spirit?" You know. But he blended it in and brought it in, and the crowd was going crazy. He played a couple songs like that, and I was like, "Yeah, that's Jazzy Jeff."
Jazzy Jeff.
Yeah, and you're just like, but when you see it, I don't know if AI would take it there. I don't know
Probably wouldn't.
No, but he has a gift from God.
Right.
He's Jazzy Jeff,
right,
which is why he's been around since the 80s, and nobody can see him.
He has a show on Twitch.
Does it? Yeah.
That he does, and even a DJ from De La Soul. He has a show on Twitch.
Yeah.
And to watch those guys still be on wax, and their room is full of people.
Mm-hmm.
And they're DJing. It's like they're having one little big picnic in the building.
Yeah.
And it's like, even people being there doesn't disturb the creative process.
No.
It's like, it's like as it comes. He's just boom, boom, boom. Like Jazzy Jeff still got it. Like, you see the gray mustache, but he still got it. I look at all you guys. I've never been a trick or scratch DJ, but when I look at you guys, I'm like, man, they are really. I've always wanted to produce, never had the chance to produce. So busy with my second life, but when I watch the creative process, when DJs like you do it, it's like, man, I never thought of that song.
Well, a lot of Jazzy Jeff's famous routines were done by other DJs.
Right.
So but there's that bad meaning bad. he's not the first DJ to do that.
Bad meaning good.
If you look at, I think Bad Boy Bill was one of the first to do it, and then DJ Aladdin did it.
Right.
I think Miz did it. Miz did it on a record. DJ Miz, and these are all DMC battle DJs
Right.
that did it. And it's like Jeff was like, I think I can do something with that.
Right.
Then when he did it,
putting his own little twist.
and
on
he took every little element that these other guys did, the spinning it forward, spinning it back. Bad, to make it go bad, meaning bad, but bad, meaning good. You have to force the record. It's not easy to do it that way. But he thought that's the way to go.
Right.
But when they say it, it's bad, meaning bad, but bad, meaning good. But to catch each word and stop it and then change the timing of it, it's hard.
Gosh.
It's really hard. Because the syllables are different. You're saying bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good. Some of them are 2-syllable words, and some of them are 1-syllable word.
Right.
But he makes the timing so he goes bad, but bad meaning bad. And it's not the same because the timing is different.
Right.
And he's putting them all in the same time. So when he does that thing where he breaks it down and goes bad meaning but bad meaning good.
Right.
That is very difficult to do. Just that part alone.
Right. And keep it on tempo and then
they keep it on tempo, and I was like,
go look it up, guys. YouTube, look it up.
But to do, and I had to practice to get that down, and I was like, man, that's harder than I thought. But he just does it like it's nothing, It's just like, and he does that with a lot of stuff. He was the first one to do the as we go a little something like this.
As we go a little something like this.
Yeah. But he did the from Slick Rick, Lottie Dottie. It's just a phrase in that record where at the beginning of Lottie Dottie, Slick Rick is like, he was like, as we go a little something like this. He made a melody out of it. He was like this, like this, as we go, as we go.
That's crazy.
And you're just like, who thinks like that? Jeff does.
Right.
He does. And when he does it, that's a gift. He's not, and I don't think, and I'm, I have a certain level of skill set, but for me to even imitate what he does is I have to practice, and I go, oh man, this is just who he is.
Right. And
I don't think if somebody uses sync, they're not even in the same realm with him. And if you had to choose who you'd want to see, so let those guys have those gigs. Let somebody DJ at a bar. Let somebody DJ somewhere. I think the crowd will always go to the show.
Right.
People are always going to gravitate towards the creative mind or the talent or whatever. And it's okay. I went out for dinner. My wife and I were in Mishawaka, and I said, I'm kind of hungry. And she was like, well, where do you want to eat? I said, I don't know. Where do you want to go? And she goes, how about Bar Louie? Yeah, and we popped in there, and Daryl Buchanan was there.
Was he?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he wasn't DJing, but he was like playing music, and he was like playing the guitar along with it.
Okay.
I didn't talk to him because he was busy, but I just sat in the corner, which I like to do is sneak in.
Right. It's DJ Outlaw's place.
But he was kind of like DJing because he was like playing really good songs.
Was he?
But he was like playing the instrumentals, and he was playing like old school stuff, but he played like... he did Regulator, but it was like the instrumental.
The instrumental guitar.
And he's like playing the guitar with it. Yeah, so he had like it was really funny. And I was like, oh, this is kind of a cool vibe. And then, he played like Earth, Wind, and Fire. And then he was playing like these old school songs. And then he would sing once in a while. Right. And he's not DJing, but I would go and hang out.
He's a true guitarist legend of South Bend. He's been doing it for a while. I remember playing his album, well, one of the records off his album on the stage, and they're like, "Why would you play?" I said, "Listen to this guy. He's a local." He's like, and after I did that, all the artists started coming out the trove, and wow, yeah, Daryl Buchanan, he's a favorite. I like him too, man.
Yeah,
Louis. I'm gonna figure out what schedule he has there.
Well, I didn't know he was. We just went there to get some food.
Yeah, and he was there.
And he was there, and I was like, and my wife sat down. She was like, "Oh, this is kind of a cool vibe," and I was like, "Yeah, that's Daryl Buchanan." And she goes, "Oh,
you know him too?"
Yeah. She was like, "Oh," and I said, "I'm just gonna, I will just enjoy it." I said, "This is interesting. This is kind of a cool vibe." So, I'm not mad at those DJs or anything like that. I wish them the best of luck. And I remember going back and forth with this dude, and he was telling me I wasn't a real DJ, and I just thought it was comical.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, this guy will argue with
Some
anybody.
Some of these guys are trolls just to see what they can do. And I'm like,
this guy was really mad.
Professional trolls. He's probably saying everything about every video that you put out, probably.
No, I just happened to...
Did you block him?
No. No. I wish him the best of luck. No, I don't know, man. Like, I talked to a bunch of people about this DJ thing. I like music. I've been blessed and been able to do certain things, but the truth is there's a passion inside of me that I have to do certain things a certain way, and I can't turn that off.
You shouldn't.
And I just do those things. But I think other people have those same passions too.
Right.
Right. And so let them explore them. There's no harm in it. And I don't need to. And the other thing too is like there was a time that I DJ'd, and I won't say the city because it'll give it away, but I DJ'd somewhere, and a nightclub called me, and they said, "Hey, our DJ isn't doing so good. Would you be interested in DJing?" Mm-hmm. Well, I knew the guy, and he was a nice guy.
Okay. And
I said, "Well, that's a tricky situation." And this has happened several times.
Right.
So, yeah, I got to be careful. Let's just say it's in Michigan.
Okay.
Okay. And so I said, "Yeah, well, he's a nice guy." So I said, let me work with the guy and see if I can help him.
Right.
So I work with the guy, and I go in there, and I said, "How's it going?" And he's like, "We're dead." And I was like, "Oh, that's, okay. Well, what do you think the issue is?" And he said, "Oh, the owners wanted to change the format. I'm not real good with that kind of music, blah, 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 blah." I was like, "Well, just ask people what they want to hear." Right. And so I'm little by little, I'm helping this guy. And then I ended up DJing there like one night a week or something, mm-hmm. I think. And we built the numbers back up. And he got real nervous. He said, "Oh, they're going to offer you the job." And I was like, no, buddy, I'm not going to take it, right. Which was true.
Right.
So I helped the guy out. Well, then he started to get better, and the club's starting to get better.
Right.
And I'm okay with that because I'm DJing across town, doing my thing. But I'm coming in there one night a week. And back then, everybody wanted to be a Billboard reporter because you would get free records if you were a Billboard reporter. So those charts that Billboard gets, DJs that DJ in nightclubs, or if you DJ on the radio, if you're a reporter, you send them your list, whatever you play, your top 30.
Right.
And so the Billboard charts are based on sales, and they're also based on these DJs reporting to Billboard. Right. And there's a limited amount of spots for each state. It's like 2 or 3 spots. Okay. And they usually go to the bigger cities and stuff. Well, if anybody could have been a Billboard reporter, it would have been me, because I was on several stations at that time. But I was already getting records, so I didn't care. They were getting shipped right to my house from the record labels. So I didn't care, but he really wanted it bad.
Wow.
And he's like, I'm trying to be a Billboard reporter, blah, blah, blah. And he was very jealous of another DJ that was a Billboard reporter, and he felt that other guy didn't deserve it, And I would say, it doesn't matter, maybe just hang in there. You just got to keep working hard. So a spot becomes available. Right. Now, I wasn't sure what to do, so I talked to a friend. I said, I don't know what to do. And the guy said, oh, you don't want to do Billboard. That's a waste of time. You're going to send those things in every week? He said, I got something you could do. He goes, why don't you write, why don't you do this thing for R&R? Now, R&R is Radio and Records. Right? Did you know I was a reporter for them?
I did not.
Yeah. So he said, why don't you do R&R? They have that's a much better gig.
Right.
And let this other guy have, because I had a dilemma. He said, let this other guy have the Billboard thing. I said, all right, fine. So I used to write industry profiles for R&R.
Oh, gosh.
Right? So
too much for me, man.
So I never tell anybody any of this stuff. So I'm like, all right, well, I want my friend to be happy. And I also know that he's also a little competitive and a little jealous and all that stuff.
Right.
So he comes in and he goes, I got it. And I was like, well,
awesome.
Now he doesn't know that all these conversations are going on.
Right.
And I said, well, got what? And he goes, oh, I'm going to be a Billboard reporter. And I was like, oh, good for you, man.
Right.
Cool. And I was like, that's awesome. And he's very excited.
Right.
And so I'm like, I feel like I'm a good person.
Right.
I feel like I've done something right. And I go on, I write these industry profiles, and they're in R&R. And for people that don't know, Radio and Records is a subscription. It's an industry magazine that just about every radio station in the country subscribes to.
Right.
And they offered me a little snippet that I could write, like, I can't remember, but it wasn't much. It was like a paragraph, maybe 2 paragraphs. Every week, though, on whatever I wanted to write about. So I remember I did a review on Busta Rhymes. I remember I did an interview with the program director at Fort Wayne.
Right.
So it was a big deal. And all I had to do was just email it to them.
Right.
Whatever I emailed them, they printed. Yep. And so I said, all right, I'm very happy for him. But I don't tell him that because I don't want to one-up him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I just want him to have his moment.
Right.
So I leave it alone. And probably about 3 weeks goes by. And I'm in the club that I DJ at. I was rewiring the speakers or something. I remember I was on a ladder. And the door flings open. He goes, when were you going to tell me? I was like, tell you what. He goes, you're writing for Radio and Records, which is funny because nobody says that.
Right.
And I think
you probably went R&R?
Yeah. No.
You didn't go out as R&R?
And I was like, oh yeah. No, I said, oh yeah, that's right. I forgot to tell you about that. You were, and I told him, I said, well, you were so happy to do Billboard, but he was mad at me because he thought I one-upped him. And that was not even, it's a weird.
Not telling him is a signal of not one-upping him. Why don't, see, and that's another thing DJs don't get. When you're friends with them and you're trying not to one-up them, they just don't get it when they find out certain things.
But here's the thing, though. The whole time I'm acting in this guy's best interest.
Right.
The whole time. And I'm not a selfish person, and I really, I believe in God. I believe in being kind to people and do unto others. And that's kind of how I've lived my entire life, just being a good person.
Yeah, me too.
And I really do believe that, like, when you do that, if you put good into the world, good comes back.
Good comes back. I totally agree. I do the same thing. I try to do the same thing.
Yeah, it was so funny, but he was so mad. And he doesn't even DJ anymore, which is funny.
He doesn't DJ anymore.
No, he did it for a while. He was very successful at it, but it was like,
heck.
But I bet you if you talk to him today, he just thinks I'm the worst human being possible. We fell out. It's not that we fell out. It's just like, I was like, I can't not be myself.
I don't think DJs fall out. I think they have disagreements and then they never talk again. I may be speaking out of turn.
But if you ask him, though, he'll tell you he's better than me and all that. Like, it matters to him. But he does, when it comes to DJ skill set, there's nowhere. It's funny. It's just funny.
I know. I've been there. You know, you try to help people that are DJs with you, and then something happens where you're trying to take the high road, and they feel you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, and then all of a sudden they're upset with you.
Yeah. But where I was going with this was, you know, you just got to be good to people. And right. I believe that if you're kind to people, things work out for you. Honestly, if you're just good and you have a good heart and you're sincere and genuine, there are a lot of people that I think of, like Palmster.
Yeah.
You know, he's just a good guy.
Right.
And I know he retired from DJing, but we all love and adore him.
Right.
People come out to support whatever he does.
It's a sad day. He announced his retirement.
Yeah, I'm gonna get him back.
I was like,
I'm gonna get him back. Palmer, we need you.
I don't know, man. When Palmer retired, he sold everything. I never seen a guy so ready to retire. Like, hey, man, I got this for sale. What were you? I'm retiring for real. I mean, he sold his catalog, his music, everything he was selling. You know, hard drives with music on it. I was like, what? That's when you know a DJ is really trying to get out, when they sell the hard drives of music.
Well,
or copies of it.
I have some hard drives, and I have some equipment. If he wants to borrow it, he's more than welcome. But he was always successful at what he did.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a top promoter. He promotes. I never saw a guy. Whenever he did stuff, he was banging on the promotions.
Yeah. But, you know, I wish him the best of luck. He kind of, I think, is taking that same energy and approaching it to other aspects of his life and earning money.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish him. I wish him the best.
In a while.
I saw him somewhere.
Facebook.
Where did I see him at? I think I was at Edgewater. I think he was there, maybe.
Was he Edgewater?
Yeah, I think he was there, and he was funny. He was like, I was like, man, it's so good to see you. We need you back. And he goes, hold on, I gotta take a picture. I'm with Kid Mix.
Excuse me, that's him. That is him.
He made me feel good. You know what I'm saying? It was just funny. He was like, he was funny. He was like, I'm with a celebrity. I'm with Kid Mix. Come on now. And he held up the phone, and I was like, yeah, stop it.
It'd be good to see all those guys. Gino J, U, Slice, Q, 512, Pablo G. I'm missing some people. Who else is out there? Just a lot of DJs that I wish we could all do one big festival where we all can just do a set that night, one behind the other, not just being competitive, just playing music.
I think it would be a little competitive, but that's okay.
It would, because
you know,
as DJs, we all, you got this. You know, it's like I would just be me laughing like, all right.
Yeah.
Man.
I also got I wish I wasn't as competitive.
E Street. Who else? Strychnine.
I just saw him when I went to go check out Grind. He was there. I should have contacted him. Yeah, he was like, I want to come on your guys' podcast. I said, okay.
E Street, Grind.
But we had somebody else scheduled.
Mm-hmm.
And they canceled. And I had like 3 or 4 people lined up. I don't know. Maybe you and I need to get better at coordinating times.
Well, we'll do that. We'll do that and get it, because we're still on the beginning stages. And like everybody is so busy. It seems like every time I call somebody, I say, well, let me talk to Kid first.
Yeah.
I don't do nothing without him. And then either he or me will reach out to you. I want to make sure I cross.
Everybody wants to do it, but what the biggest problem is getting everybody here at the same time.
At the same time.
Yeah, that's the only challenge. Everybody wants to do it. Yeah.
Who else? Who did I talk to? Oh my goodness, there's so many people.
Well, King Rob wants to come on.
Remember Oliver Jackson?
Man,
he used to do the radio station in is it Fort Wayne? I can't remember. But go back to what you're saying. Who you were just talking about?
Oh, nothing. King Rob.
Yes.
I reached out to King Rob and Rob, but when we first started this, he was like out of town for like 2 or 3 weeks. Preach was out of town for a couple of weeks. Sin and Crook, I think
Crook like hurt his back or something, so he was like trying to get better. Slice couldn't make it. He wasn't feeling the greatest, so we gotta keep Slice in our prayers. He's doing fine now.
Okay, I'm gonna say
he wasn't feeling well. I don't know. I texted him and he's like, "Yeah, man, I'm just gonna chill and get better." And I was like, "Okay."
You should give me a number. I'm like, "Hey, man, come on, what's up? You better give me his number and text him."
Well, he said that Fury. So when I interviewed Fury like 2 weeks ago, we were talking about Slice, and he never mentioned that Slice wasn't feeling well or something. And, so Slice and I had that conversation. I was like, all right, cool. Damien's in town.
Okay.
I hung out with him one day.
Yeah?
Oh, man, he's a character.
Born hustler.
We went to, I'm not going to say where, we went to lunch. He was funny. Oh, that was a fun day.
I got to reach back out to him. He hit me. I got busy. I forgot. Sorry, Damien. I'll text you tonight, call you today.
Yeah. He was fun. We hung out for a day, and then he said he would come and do the show. But yeah, I almost forgot about today because I got a book. I did
too because I thought you were going to be out of town, but that was last week. And
October.
I gotta get better at sending you my stuff too. I get busy and become a dad and be like, oh, my kid's 10. I'm still 50-something running with a 10-year-old kid. It's like, oh.
Hey, I never stopped.
When I sit down in the chair, my body says, go to sleep. I don't have COVID, I promise. This got a tickle.
You have COVID?
I don't have COVID, I promise. I just got a tickle.
Dude, I'm one of those people that sorry, speaking of children.
It never stops, does it?
No, we'll have to wrap up in a second. When COVID was going on, I'm a teacher.
Right.
I must have been exposed about 150 times. Never had one symptom.
Never had one symptom.
I must be one of those atypical people or something, but or what do they call it? Asymptomatic.
Right.
Yeah. But I never had it. I got tested all the time. I never caught it. I did follow, wear my mask and stuff, whatever they told us to do. But yeah, I was shocked because I had kids around me. They were just constantly
the weirdest
catching
thing
it.
Was with me working in the medical field. I was always around it. I never felt that I had it. My daughter and wife both came down with it. And I never felt that as though, and I asked people, how does it feel? They're like, oh man, you don't want to get out of bed. It's terrible. I never felt as though I had it. I never felt as though I was sick. So I went to work every day. And the moment they slowed everything down, it was just weird. I'm like, oh man. So I tell myself, you got to wear your mask, make sure you don't bring anything home to your mother-in-law. And I never, to this day, never felt that I ever had it. But they were telling you in the hospital, if you think you have COVID, you come in, you get tested. As long as you didn't have the symptoms, they still wanted you to work.
Yeah.
So I don't think I even had symptoms. And I just, the only thing that when it hit me and hit my life was when my mom caught it and died from it.
Oh.
So that was the only thing. I'm like, damn, what is it? I asked all these people, what does it feel like that had COVID? Oh, you can't get out of bed, you're tired, your body aches. I'm like, no, I never had that.
I think, though, for me, I did get real sick about a week after they shut things down.
Mm-hmm.
And I was pretty sick for like 3 or 4 days. But, being I have that teacher immunity.
Mm-hmm.
I have kids dropping, just
stuff all over you all the time.
Sneeze all on my face.
Right.
Where's the Kleenex? Over there.
Right in front of you.
Yeah.
My daughter does the same thing.
Yeah.
Dad, get your germs off me. You bring it from school. Daddy, no. Yeah. Like, oh gosh.
Yeah. So, hold on one sec.
Kid Nick takes a pause to make a text message.
Yeah, this different time zone thing it always throws me off, being in a little port, and then my kids live in Michigan, yeah. No, I think that's right.
That dad mind is actively thinking.
Yeah, because I got to figure out, Yeah, my wife was supposed to text me to remind me. My son's 30. We're going to take him to Silver Beach Pizza.
Really? That's going to be nice.
So, but I have to pick him up at a certain time, and I have to go to Michigan and all that stuff. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about?
Not at the moment. Just we'll get host guests in here so you guys can see them, and we'll get better and better. Anything you want to say? You're doing the wedding when again? November?
Yeah, I got to DJ somebody's wedding on the 9th. I don't think I have anything else. I have like everything I do now is like private. I got a private event, and I'm starting to book all the dances, the winter dancers.
Private events, that's awesome.
And so I've got stuff in February, I've got stuff in March, I've got stuff in May. I don't even post it on my website anymore. I thought it'd be cool to post like my calendar on the website, but since it's all private events, what difference does it make? I don't know. I go out to the clubs, and honestly, like there's nothing that I would even like. If some of the clubs in Michiana called me and said, "Would you come DJ?" I don't think I would even want to go.
No. Why?
It's not fun.
Not fun anymore.
They're not really clubs. They're like bars, and the club owners are stupid. And no, they really are. They really are dumb. They really are dumb. And then I see how everybody's like scrambling around and stabbing each other in the back and stuff. I just, I
don't like
peace.
that either.
I just have peace.
I don't like it either.
Slice and I talk about this all the time. Like Slice will refuse to DJ in the nightclubs anymore because it's a weird thing, man. You come in, you make them busy, you make them successful.
Right.
And then they treat you like you're an idiot and like you're not the person that made them successful.
They don't take any of your advice.
Yeah. Well, they take it when they're desperate. And then when you make them successful, then they've made themselves successful and you're the moron. Yeah. I
would love to see Slice at a strictly house event. He's the house king. When I first met him, we went well, not even when I first met him. We went to Gramophones one time together. He bought this whole CD pack of Chicago house music. I wonder if he still have that. And that dude is a house. I'm into house. Awesome. But house has evolved into so much more.
Yeah, they splintered into all these genres.
Yeah, it's not just Jack and Farty, all that stuff. It's changed to everything.
We got to go to Gramophone sometime.
Yes, we do. We got to plan that because I haven't been there in a long time.
We should do like a bus trip.
A bus trip.
Yeah, we'll get like a mini bus.
And just...
We'll make a day of it.
Record a day of it, life and times.
We could record it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Sorry, I'm kicking you.
We could record it. That would be fun. And we'll have to, that's actually a really good idea.
It is, man.
We'll go to Chicago.
Like, who are these guys?
Yeah. Just walk in the store with the camera.
Yeah, it's like, that would be a good thing because people around here doesn't know what it feels like to go into an actual record store and buy records and be able to listen to the record before you buy it, and if you don't, put it back on the shelves or go and buy it.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that, but we got to wrap up. And I don't have anything else. Do you got anything?
All right,
else?
Nothing. I'm Toby T. This is Kid Mix, and we're the cast. See ya.